So you want to buy a home and want to know more about the home inspection process? Stay tuned from our home buying seminar. This is a clip from that, as well as text us and our team if you're interested at looking at buying, selling, or investing, and we are here to help. Enjoy the video.
My name is Jim Nowosielski. Long last name, it's a mouthful, but that's what I was given, so I'm sticking with it. In addition to that, though, what I want to let you know is my history. I didn't just get into home inspection just to do that. I spent 42 years building homes, customizing homes, remodeling homes, so this has been my life. And actually, my wife, probably about 6-7 years ago, I started getting a lot of friends, close family, even realtors that were saying, hey, I know this guy, and they would take their customer and they'd say, get a hold of him, have him come out and just walk through the house with you, and he'll tell you if there's anything major wrong with the home, and then you won't even bother with, putting an offer in on it. And I found it to be a lot of fun. I would go all the time, hang out with people. Just like Noah can talk to you for a while, it's a process, but I would spend the time to actually let you know everything that I found in the home. Well, that turned into looking at retirement and then getting licensed as a home inspector. So being a home inspector, actually Joy mentioned it right at the beginning there, she knows, and we've all experienced it. We go into a home and we're looking at it and like, this could be the baby's room, this could be my office. We're not looking at the details in the home that hopefully I don't crush for you, but hopefully I can, for lack of better words, educate you on. And here's how this goes. Years ago, now, is anybody first-time buyers in here? Are we? Okay, so some of you are going to be doing this for the first time, but for those of you that had a home, you probably got 2 or 3 pages and it was a checklist. And they went through it and they kind of looked at it. Well, today things are more advanced. I use a tablet. It runs about a 400 question or 400 blanks that I actually have to fill out to go through that process to look at your home. So it's not just go in and take a quick look at things, it's get into the nitty-gritty of how the house is structured, if there's any structural problems with it, roof problems with it. It's every detail of your home. That will come to you in a report that's usually around between 50 and 70 pages, and I take many photos with my report, so you'll have actual pictures of everything that I found in the home. I can tell you this, when it comes to homes today, and my experience even as a builder over the last 20 years, mold, everyone's heard about that. It's an issue that people find. I look for it because it's something that needs to be taken care of, but if you are notified or as you're going through the inspection with me, we find that, don't panic about it. Mold can be remediated pretty quickly and easily in homes. My daughter just bought a home last year. We had mold in the basement and mold in the attic, and we got it remediated. I think it was like about $1,000 or $1,200. Again, as they were talking about the negotiation part, this is something that then you take your realtor, or you're confident with your realtor to negotiate these things for you in the home. The main thing I'm looking for is structurally. If you love a home, there's many things that can be fixed easy in a home to move forward with it, but there are some things that if I find, and it's a bad thing, it's gonna crush you, but you'll have to walk away. What are these things? I've found that the 2 major things really are pest. You can get termites in a home that eat a whole lot of the wood that you're not seeing as you're walking through the home. And then when you find that out, it's very difficult to try to replace the first floor of a home when it's a 2-story home on a basement. But the other is bowing walls. Wood, it's going to happen. It's a natural thing that you'll get some bow. But if I walk in a basement, and like when you walk in it, you're going to walk around, you're just going to be looking at the space and the things that your looking to use it for. But when I go in, I'm looking to see, is there hydraulic pressure on the outside of this basement? Is it pushing the wall in so that now it's going to cost you a lot of money to fix the home? So for lack of better words, I really am your best friend. You don't know me. We haven't been introduced formally, but my job, and I do take it personal, is to get in the home, and I'm an advocate for you. I want to get in there, I want to look at the home, I want to make sure that this money that you're spending, probably the biggest purchase you'll make of your life, is going to be something that you're not going to get into, and then all of a sudden there's thousands of dollars in repairs that need to be done on it. So that's my job. And other than that, I have other inspections that I do. Pest is actually separate from a regular inspection. Mold is separate. Radon is separate. The last thing I would mention to you is that lead is another thing that I'm licensed in. Lead is very important for any of you. It's important in city. Cleveland proper, you have to have a certificate if you're going to buy a home and then rent it out. In order to rent that home, they kind of are still working on that, so there's a process involved in it. But more importantly to me is any of you that might have small children. Any home that was built before 1978 has lead paint in it. It has asbestos in it. It has things that can be extremely harmful for your children. And the worst thing that could happen is for you to get into an older home, not get that tested, and then find that your son or daughter has lead poisoning. I don't say this to scare you, I say it to educate you. Homes, and I don't know why our news media outlets have not told people more about this, but any child between the age of infant and 6 years old, if they get lead poisoning in a home, they stay with that brain for the rest of their life. So if your daughter or son gets lead poisoning at 3 years old, they will literally have a 3-year-old brain the rest of their life. It's a simple process to go into a home. It's 2 parts. It's a visual, and then it's an actual swabbing test. Gets sent to a lab. That lab calculates the results, and it sends it back, and then we work out whatever details we have to from there. Very important just for peace of mind even to know that your child that's going to be crawling on the floors or out on the decks or patios, if there's going to be lead dust there, that wherever their hands touch, we all know it goes in their mouth. And it's shocking to me once I started looking into that, how serious of a problem that we have with that. So that's the other thing that I do also. And with that, I guess really beyond that, need to know if anyone has any questions.
How much does the average home inspection cost?
Average home inspection is based at $350. It's going to take anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours, depending on the size of the home and age of the home. Believe it or not, older homes sometimes actually take longer to go through and look at. In addition to that, that's based on up to 2,500 square foot. Then it jumps up like $50 once it gets beyond that, but not a serious thing. But $350 is the base price for home inspection, at least through me. Any other question?
Jim, you hate it when the home buyers follow you around during these home inspections, right?
Oh yeah, I do not want you there. I just want, no. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that because that is important. Like I said, for lack of better words, to educate you, I love it and I expect for you to be there at your home inspection. And I love it for you to walk through it with me and look at everything, ask me any questions that you have. That's your time. It's what you're paying me for, and I want to be able to walk through every part of that home and let you see what's going on, even show you how the furnace is operating, the age of the furnace, air conditioning, hot water tank, let you see how well the roof is on the home and the structure of it, so that now that purchase that you made, you can really get excited about it because now you feel comfortable about that home that you're buying. So. Yes, please be a part of that. Yes.
Are you licensed or certified, however it works, to work with the VA?
Yes, I am not. There, up until about 3 years ago, you could actually just be a home inspector, but now you have to be licensed by the state of Ohio.
No,
And
for
yes,
VA,
I
she
am.
was asking.
Oh, for VA.
Yeah.
Actually, I can do VA. It's a little bit longer process because there are a few more things that have to be looked at, but I've never had any issues with doing a home inspection for VA. Yep.
If
Yep,
the
good
loan is
question.
FHA, are you able to kind of pick out some of the things that the FHA appraiser would call out?
Yeah, because there are some more things that, I mean, they don't even want like so much peeling paint on a home. They, yeah. So if there's a lot of peeling paint,
If the
Yeah.
homeowner is
yep,
very
again, it's something that you're gonna have to, actually, those things I think have to be even taken care of before closing, if I'm not mistaken, so.
Is anybody
Yeah.
FHA? You know, or, of course, if you haven't talked to a lender yet, we don't know, do you?
Right,
That
right.
was a dumb question.
Yeah. Lead is the same way. The visual inspection, if I find peeling paint on like decks, porches, steps, around windows, the inspection actually stops at that point. You can't go further by law. Legally, I can't. I have to just write it up as it failed the visual. And when that happens, then those things have to be taken care of. Before then, unfortunately, I have to come in, do another visual and go through that part of it. But if it passes then that visual, then I move on to doing the swabs and sending that in to get sampled. So I like the fact that I structured it better for you in that scenario. A lot of companies charge $500, just so you're aware, when you have a lead test done. I structure it so it's 2 phases. It's a certain amount for the visual and a certain amount for the actual test. Lab and everything else costs money. I charge $150 to come out and do the visual. If it goes beyond the visual, then it's another $350. That's that $500. But if it fails at the visual, I only charge the $150. I explain to you everything that needs to be done in your home to get it to the point where we can do it again. Unfortunately, yes, I do have to come out and do that visual again, but then hopefully we've done everything that needs to be done to be able to then move forward to do the sampling part of it. Radon is $150, and that comes into the home. Radon is something that's kind of interesting because you come into the home, it gets set up in the house, and for 48 hours, that system has to sit in there, and you can't bump it. If you do, it messes up the unit. They're very technical units. You can't open a lot of windows in your home, just like spring and fall. You know, we like to get air in our home. If you're testing for for radon, you can go in and out of your house, obviously, but that machine, if enough air gets moving through, it will fail the test, and then you'll have to start it over again. But it takes about 48 hours, then come back on the machine. I can generally read right away. It'll tell me what the levels are for radon. So
What are they looking for? What's the results?
anything over 5 is now you're going to have remediation in the home. And last I knew, remediation, depending on the home, it's about $1,500. You guys probably have that done often, so you have some idea, but it used to be more expensive than that. This is just knowledge that you don't need to know, but I'll tell you anyways. Because they tried to go up through the center of the home, now they actually go outside of the home and take it up the outside of the home. So the price came down a lot when that happened and made it a little bit.
As a home buyer, though, you don't need to worry about
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
only the seller would have to remediate,
Right,
and we would negotiate as realtors
yeah,
to remediate that.
yes.
So,
Yeah, mold is generally about $60 to get mold done. There's a test swab that I also send in for mold. Pest is another one, that's a $75. But I can tell you that now let me look at probably about 85% of the homes I do. I go in, I do a home inspection, and usually I can point out those things without charging my customer for those. I'm doing it anyways. I'm going through and I'm looking and inspecting everything anyways. I usually don't say, well, I'm going to need an extra, for this and an extra for that. I kind of combined everything into that $350 home inspection. So other than radon is and lead, those cost me money to do the processing for them, so I have to charge some. Any other questions that anyone would have?
What was the lead cost? The cost for lead?
It's $500 for lead. Yeah, I have to send that away, and it has to be tested through a lab, and it's pretty expensive to have done. So.
But it's $150 at first.
Just for the visual.
It actually costs. If I go through and do the swabbing, then it's $500, and then I'll give you the results when they get back, which is usually in about 5 to 7 days. But if it fails on visual, then it's $150. I don't charge the whole $500.
But is this only for the houses that are older than?
1978.
Okay, so the newer ones you don't have.
No. Newer ones you could run into.
Susceptible to radon.
Yeah.
The lead one, right?
Yeah, for lead, anything older than 1978.
He's asking if radon's really necessary.
Yes, depending on the area. And you'll know, usually your realtors will let you know in certain areas where there's a lot of radon that's been found there. And radon, so that you don't know, it's a gas. It comes up underneath your home and into your home. It's been known to cause cancer. That's the big reason that radon gets remediated. So what they do is they go down into the basement of your home, they drill a 4-inch hole through your basement floor, and they put a pipe in there with a pump on it, and that pumps that radon, it pulls it out from underneath your home, and it pumps it up to, believe it or not, above your roof about 2 feet and blows it into the wind to your neighbors. And then other than that, I was actually surprised that somebody didn't ask me if I still do remodeling, because I did work for 42 years, but no, I don't. I retired from that, although I find myself getting talked into for friends once in a while doing stuff. I did retire from that, so. Other than that, I thank you for your time. I'm sorry?
If we're walking through a house with you for an inspection,
Mhm.
we're like, is this wall load bearing? You would probably be able to guess, or no?
No, I wouldn't have to guess. I'd know for sure. Yeah, and that's a very good question though, but because if you're looking at the home and you're like, I want to open up this wall and do something with it, there are actually ways, even though it's a load-bearing wall, to change that. You need to know, sometimes it involves an engineer. A lot of the construction I do, I would end up getting engineers for it. Some of it I just know because, again, I've practiced for many years. So yeah, not hard to do. There's a product called LVL that's a very strong, thick wood, and depending on how long that span is, it's just how big of pieces of LVL that you have to use to basically create a header across that space. So
So let's first give him a hand. Thank
Yeah.
you. So,